welcome to the video. Hi everyone. So welcome to the video, and we are Monday today. I thought I'll talk about quickly talk about. I hope this video is short. I'll quickly talk about how to keep your Wi-Fi secure, especially your home Wi-Fi. And now that everyone is used to, at least maybe many of you are working at least one day from home, and you use your corporate assets, you connect to your corporate network, sometimes even use your personal devices to connect to corporate networks. It all comes down to how secure is your device and your network. So let's talk about your Wi-Fi. Um, very important, five things. First thing is change. You know, when you set up your Wi-Fi, it makes it very easy to set up, and it has a default SSID. Now remember that SSID is default for that model of the router. If another person purchases the same router, he'll have the same SSID. And if there's a password, that's even worse. So that password, if it is default, it is actually available on the internet. So change your SSID, change your default password, especially the default password that's used to log in to the router, not just your Wi-Fi, to log into the router. Change those IDs and passwords. Always, when you're setting up your Wi-Fi, remember to check that the encryption level is WPA 2 or better 3. If it's anything else, and especially if you're not tech savvy and you're not using advanced features, make sure it is WPA 2 or WPA 3. If you are tech savvy, you'll use other methods of connection, but that's not for home users. So that's that. Third thing, disable that little disable WPS. You know that little button on some routers. I don't think it's there anymore now, because it was very easy to attack that functionality where you had this button on the router. You press the button on the router, which is WPS, Wi-Fi protected service or something like that, and your device would automatically connect to that network. I've never tried it myself because I thought the idea was really stupid and insecure, and it was, in fact. So it is very easily um, what should I say, attackable. It is very easily attacked, so please do not use that. Even if it's enabled by default, disable that feature from your router. Another thing, if you're not sure, if whenever you get your router from your ISP, or even if you purchase, buy a router that's worth the money. And I say this because cheap routers do not get updated after certain period of time. So for example, 1 year, 2 year, they don't get updated after that, because the company doesn't want to spend any more money in patching those and wants you to buy a new one. So for example, I have this Wi-Fi unified network from Ubiquiti. What Ubiquiti does is it continuously releases security updates and patches and operating system updates to the device. So what happens is my device gets updated frequently. So now I have it from last 2 years. I still get updates, and I will get updates in the future as well, because the architecture is such that yes, you may not get some new features that the device might not support, but at least for your device you will still get these security updates, because the architecture is same for your router as well as the other routers. So the patches are valid for each. The features may vary, so that's different. So but I'm still getting the features. Find routers that will have long-term support. Very important. If a router does not support, sorry, if your service provider, if your service provider or your router vendor does not support your router anymore, I would suggest, please, if it's possible, change that router and possibly go for something that has long-term support. At the end, the fifth and the last thing, it's very easy to purchase routers, set this up, leave it as default, and just yay, I'm done. I'm on the network. Yay, 1 Gbps. But remember that just like your corporate network has a firewall, please, if it's not enabled by default, enable the firewall on your router. Sometimes it's not enabled by default because it will hit your router in terms of performance. That's why the vendors do not enable by default. But also remember that sometimes good manufacturers know that the firewall is required and the devices still function as good as without a firewall. So please enable the firewall. Even if you do have a bit of a performance hit, 10-15%, it's worth it than having no firewall and getting bombarded from the internet with all kinds of nonsense. So those 5 tips are for today. Change all the default settings, SSID, usernames, passwords, enable WPA2, WPA3, nothing less than that. Make sure you disable that pesky WPS feature. Even if you have it, don't use it. Disable it. Find routers that have long-term support in terms of firmware, the operating system, and whenever you have a new router, make sure you keep them updated. And the last one, enable that strong firewall on your router. Always go for routers that have a firewall in place. If it has additional features, great, like Ubiquiti, but if not, at least a firewall. You need those things. So some of the tips that help you with your home Wi-Fi network, and let me know if you have any other features to discuss. Let me know in the comment section below, and until the next video, stay safe, take care.